Hello and welcome. Today in this video I'm going to paint another sky, and I'm going to try to make this one a little bit quicker than the last one I did. And the last one that I did is literally the most recent one in my sketchbook. So I'm going to try to make this one a little bit quicker and less complicated. Try to simplify it. So I just put washi tape along the edges. I'm just pressing down along here. And I'm going to take my spray bottle and spritz my palette. And the palette I'm using is the Muted Colors Van Gogh Pocket Box. I really like this. And I'm going to use my first brush I'm going to use is a round 10 by Princeton Neptune series. Got 2 cups of water, clean and then dirty. So first I am going to start out, you can see my previous sunset painting. I still have all the colors there. So I just usually keep my palettes dirty. I just call it palette mud and I can use it for other things. So this is going to be mostly sky. So I'm going to take my indigo, put it up here, rinse my brush. I wonder, I'm going to try this out, titanium buff. Add it in there. I kind of like that. Look at that. All right, and I'm just going to swipe it around the bottom. Clean water. And I just dipped my brush in the water to get clean water. I'm not stirring my brush in the water or anything like that. Grab some more of this. So this is really wet page here. And I'm going to get some more water and pull into this. This is like a really dark area. So I'm just going to drop the really wet paint into the sky where the paper is still, it's really wet. If you look at it against the light, it's really shiny. And I am not using any reference photos. I am just playing this whole thing by ear with what I pretty much already have in my palette mud. Rinse my brush. Fresh water. I'm going to soften the edges. It's a little dried up here. And the sketchbook I'm using is not 100% cotton, so it acts a little differently than my nice watercolor paper. But I do like the sketchbook, using it for little fun little paintings to show you guys what you can make. And then this whole pocket box set I bought from a local art store for less than $25, and the sketchbook was like, I think it was definitely less than $20. And this paintbrush, it's a nicer paintbrush. So I think it was probably around $10, maybe $12 at most. Rinse my brush. And now I'm going to do some ground. So I'm going to get my yellow ochre here and add it in with this guy. This looks like a dark brown I mixed. Lighten it up a little bit. You know what? I'm going to lighten it up. Try this titanium buff again. Just going to lay it down here. And you have to be really careful when you do something like this, because if you put a wet area next to a wet area, they can bleed to one another. Which, you know, sometimes you care about and sometimes you don't. So I'm thinking this is like, you know, a wheat field or a hay field in a stormy summer day. I'm going to take some clean water and drop it in. Try to make some blooms, cauliflowers. You can see like right there. That's really cool. This Van Gogh, this Van Gogh watercolor paint, it really does a great job of making these blooms on this paper. I haven't tested it on my nice watercolor paper yet, but I feel like this can really make cool skies. So I'm just kind of lifting some excess water off of my brush. And let's get some more clean water. Actually, I want to try my spritzer. Just, let's see. I'm going to do that like this. And this kind of like a fine mist, so it didn't really do what I wanted to do. But it did soften some lines. Let's wipe up some of the excess water. That's really cool. Rinse my brush, get some clean water, and let's drop a little bit in here. And depending on how damp your paper is or isn't, what type of paints you use and paper, the cauliflowers and blooms react differently. So it's not going to all be the same. That's the beauty about watercolors, because it's all different. And, you know, sometimes you just need to sit back and let watercolor paint do its thing, because it knows better than you what it's going to do. And I learned that little thing from a little demonstration I saw recently by another watercolor artist named Linda Kemp. And so that's really true to watercolors. Watercolors knows better than you what it's going to do. And that's really stuck with me. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. If you think it's cool, that's great. If you don't, then I guess we can still be friends, but let's add some more dark back here. And you notice the composition I did like 1/3 and 2/3. You don't want to have a horizon right in the middle. Ideally, you don't do that. Let's kind of work that in a little bit more. Rinse my brush, wipe it mostly dry, and just barely touch the edges with a damp brush to soften the edge. Gosh, that could be like a finished painting, right? Right. You know, it's fun doing videos, but I kind of have to talk to myself. But I don't have a problem with that. All right. I think that's really cool. And that's a pretty quick little painting. You kind of let the watercolor do the work for you. So like a wheat field and a big open area in the stormy sky. Well, should I paint on this side real quick? Yeah, let's do it. So I'm gonna get my washi tape. So I don't peel off my washi tape until the paper is totally dry. And that really helps the paper dry flat. So the least amount of buckling and ripples in the paper. Trying to get my tape line straight. Never a guarantee that's going to be straight, but do the best you can, right? Because that's the best you can do. Do another sky. I'm going to press down really good along the edges. Gosh, what kind of sky now? Let's do maybe I'll just start painting and see what happens. It's kind of what I did with that one. I didn't really plan ahead. I just started painting. Let's just get the paper nice and wet. I mean, you could use a bigger brush and get the paper wet faster, but I just wanted to just show you guys what you can do with just one paintbrush. And see how evenly wet that is. Mostly evenly wet, at least. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's mix up some colors, do more of an indigo. And then let's do some of this lavender. A little more lavender. And then we'll do the titanium buff. And we're just gonna plop it in. The paper's bowing a little bit, so I'm just gonna take a moment and secure it. There we go. A little bit better. Plop that paint in. And I'm just not putting paint everywhere, that way, like, save the white of the paper for clouds. And then I'm going to put water along the edges and just really play around with how the paint and the water react. And like I said earlier, it depends on your paint, your paper, how damp or dry your paper is. It will all react differently. There's a puddle over here, so I'm going to lift up the heavy bits of the paint. And then get some more of that indigo and just put in this dark area. I'm going to put some of that dark area here and there. There's a bunch of water pooled down there. So I'm just going to take my paper towel and dab it up. And there too. Why not? And for this one, I'm thinking maybe like woods, forest. Okay, let's do a quick little forest. Grab some of my green, put it here, and then, oh yeah, that's sepia. Let's do a neutral tint. And some more green. And a little bit of indigo. Okay, let's add some of that yellow back in. Okay. So just adding something that looks like trees. And this lower part of the sky, there was enough time and it dried. And let's mix a little bit more. This is olive green, and let's get some Davy's gray. And then indigo. And then yellow ochre is one of my favorite colors, pretty much, for like everything. We'll just drop some more in. And this is still kind of damp, so it's kind of like a wet into wet technique. The paint already is. Just adding some color variety to this tree line. So this painting I just finished, I had the paper all wet when I started, and I dropped in the paint, and you can really see how the paint just did its thing, versus over here it was dry and I just started painting on it and then dropping water in. So that's 2 little sky tutorials, and I think they are pretty cool. Just play around with some blues and grays, and then just some simple stuff for horizon line. And watercolor painting can be a lot of fun. Skies are a really great way to play around with your paints and try out different techniques and just have fun with it. I hope this has helped you in your watercolor painting journey. Happy painting!